In our journey, we have no fear. Our Lord leads us in all our ways. We trust in you, even in our tears. Your tender love wipes those away. Shout with joy, clap your hands. We are your people, you who bless. Praise your name, celebrate Anno Domini, our Jubilee.
Well, I'm Hailey Alvarado. I go to St. Catherine's Academy and I'm in second form. I love to paint and I crochet and I do journaling. And right now I just got a Cricut, so I'm learning how to use that. Well, I go to church every Sunday. On Fridays, sometimes my brother and I would go to church and we go to the youth group that's there. Me and my mom would go to the feeding program once a month. And I'd say that I had pretty good faith. I would always do activities at church and go help there. I was in standard 6 when it started. And I was just going to school like every day. On Wednesdays, I'd go to my art classes. And then on the weekend, I'd go to either my friend's house or we'd go to Belmopan or Orange Walk. Or I'd just spend my days doing more art at my house. I feel like it started back in December. My elbows started hurting me, but it went away quickly in less than a week. And it didn't come back until probably the start of March, when it wasn't my elbows, but my knees and most of my joints in my legs started hurting to the point that I couldn't walk. And we had thought that it was just because that month we were starting sports day practice. So we had gone to a masseuse and they were massaging my leg, but he says, if you come back more than 3 times, well, this isn't anything to do with your joints. Like, this is a bigger problem. We then went to a foot doctor. He had said, oh, this is arthritis. So he's like, you have to do blood tests to check. And so we went to do that and it came out positive. So we didn't know where to go from there, so we went to the pediatrician and he told us, you have to go to Merida because this is a bigger problem. It could be like juvenile arthritis. And so we were thinking of going to Merida, but then my uncle, he lives in Guatemala, so he's like, you guys can just come here because we have a pediatric rheumatoid arthritis doctor. And so we were like, okay, so we packed up. We only packed for 4 days and we had gone. And from that point on, we went to a next doctor and she told us to do more tests and she checked my blood pressure and that's when she saw that it was very elevated. And we were like, she said, check it again at nighttime and if it's continuing to be high, you have to go to a kidney doctor. So that's where it all started from then. We were with my mom and dad. My uncle had just dropped us there and we had been in the waiting room when she called us in and she started looking at our papers and she just looked at us and said, she has kidney failure. And it was a quick thing because she had to rush to a next appointment. So in like less than 20 minutes, we were out of there, back on the sidewalk, walking to do more tests. I understood and I felt very confused. I didn't know what would happen from there. We didn't even have time to process what was going on. And she just told us like that, like very harshly. So honestly, I didn't know what was going on. By the next day, we wanted to get a second opinion. So my uncle, he helped us to find a next kidney doctor. And we went there, and by the evening time, he said, no, this is far too severe. You're already on stage 4 of kidney failure, and we need to get you a biopsy by tomorrow morning. So we just went home, we packed up our stuff, and the next morning, they took me to the emergency room. In less than an hour, I was in the hospital bed, and they were about to do my biopsy. We spent 2 weeks in the hospital. We were in a very nice room. My mom was the one to stay with me, and my dad would come by once a day to bring us food or anything we needed. During that time, I had like a coloring book. I would color, I would eat my food, or I would watch TV. Then we had to be moved to an isolation room because too many of the kids next to me in the hospital was sick. They started giving me steroids and different medications to bring my toxins down, but they realized that the steroids stopped working because my body stopped rejecting them. Then they told us that we need to get a different medication that's IV drips, but they said that they didn't have it in that hospital. The same doctor that told us that we had to go get the biopsy, he came to us and said that he is one of the co-owners or directors of a foundation that helps renal patients for free, and that they have the medication and that they'd help us to get it. When they did our biopsy, the nephrologist told me that I had rapidly progressive vasculitis that was caused by Pianka, which is an autoimmune disease. And so they started to give me steroids, but my levels of toxins didn't go down and it didn't help me. So the same nephrologist that told us to get the biopsy said that he's a director for a foundation, Fundanier, that they help kidney patients for free and that they have this medication that I need. We left the hospital and we were out for a day, and by the second day, we went to the foundation. They got me prepared and they put me on the medication called rituximab. But the thing is that we did it for 2 weeks and it still didn't help. It didn't bring down my Pianka or Sianka, and I started to get worse. At that point, I wasn't able to eat at all because the medications I was taking were so strong that they messed up my stomach. And so we went back to the hospital and they told us that we'd have to do a plasmapheresis, where they had to put a catheter on my leg, and that it's a machine that would clean out my blood and add more plasma. And so we did 3 sessions of that, and it brought down my toxins a bit, but still not all the way.
Say hi to Grandma. Grandpa.
I started to get better. I was able to eat, but when they had to take off the catheter, it gave me a thrombosis because my blood coagulated too fast. And my mom, she had to leave because my brother was having graduation and she wanted to be there. So my dad decided to stay with me and they let him, which was a very happy moment for me because usually they don't let the dads stay at the hospital, it's only the moms, but they allowed him to stay. And they also told us that same day that we didn't have to stay in the hospital for the thrombosis because we could add the injections and the anticoagulants at home, so we wouldn't need to stay there. So I told him that I want to be there for Michael's graduation. And he said, I'll make it happen. During that while, we were all separated because my brother was still in school at that time, so he had to stay home. And we had been gone for 3 months at that point. And my dad couldn't see us in the hospital, but the nurses would accommodate us so that I could go downstairs to see him, and he would bring me different things to do there at the hospital. When it was time for Michael's graduation, they allowed my dad to stay with me so that my mom could go to fly over to see him. I had to take injections, 21 injections for the anticoagulant, and my dad was the one to help me to put them on my leg, but we weren't able to fly over to Belize to see the graduation. We were able to go the next week to see Michael, and we stayed in the city for 2 weeks until I had to go back again. And at that point, I was still getting worse. I still couldn't eat, and I was still on a very strong medication. And so they said, no, we have to put the catheter for pre-dialysis before you get any worse. And we couldn't find the tubing for weeks, and we had been in the hospital for 2 months at that point now. It was already July, and we had moved from the 3rd floor to the 2nd floor, back down to the nephrology floor. And all just while all the doctors were so kind, the nurses were kind, and they helped us in any problem we had and really helped us along the way. And every night we would pray, and my mom would be right by my side to help me through this. After being in the hospital for so long, they finally put the catheter. The hospital was able to do it since we weren't able to do it in the next foundation, which was Una Erc. They're another kidney foundation that also helps for free, but since we're not citizens of Guatemala, they weren't able to put it. But the next foundation was, and they helped us with that. I became a dialysis patient on July 21st, 2023. From that point, we got donated bags from the same foundation and also other patients that didn't need them anymore, and we brought them back to Belize City, and I started my dialysis journey. It was very hard to get used to because when you first start, it pulls on your stomach a bit too much, so it hurts. And we had to go through almost a week of training, me and my mom, to learn how to do the dialysis. While we were still in the hospital, we would go down every day to get the training done, and then at the end of it, you have to do like a test and do it by yourself to show them that you're capable of doing it at your home. So we were finally able to leave the hospital that day after 2 months, and we were able to go back home. So I was able to be there for the summer, and I got to be with all my family since my brother hadn't left for college yet. I was excited because I was about to start school the next month, and would finally be in first form. And so I started getting ready, and I continued doing my art as it really helped me through this time. I got my bedroom fixed because we had just moved into our new house, and I was able to spend more time with my brother, and I was really enjoying this time back at home. When I came back, I had to do dialysis 4 times a day, once in the morning, for lunchtime, in the evening, and before I go to sleep. My mom did the 3 times in the morning, and we taught my dad how to do the dialysis so he can do the last one. And then sometimes my brother would also help out to do it. I got to see my dog after so long, and he was so excited. He didn't leave my side at all. My brother would say that while I wasn't there, he wouldn't do anything my dog, like play, and he was just waiting for me. During this time, I also continued my painting, and one of my favorite pieces I got to do during that time was of a whale in the sea, because one of my favorite things that I used to do was swimming, and my bedroom is right in front of the sea, so I always get to look at it at night. One of my favorite activities is swimming. I'm not able to do it anymore because of the catheter, but I have found joy in other things like going out for walks. I do dances with my dad. I started voice lessons. I often enjoy like watching different videos and finding different movies. I also learned how to sew during the summer and I did different tote bags. Though I'm not able to do everything like how I used to, I found joy in new things and new hobbies. And then I started high school, which was a whole new experience for me. It was much harder than primary school with more work and more tests, but also it brought me a lot of joy because honestly I love school because I'm able to see all my friends, I'm able to learn new things and do different activities. I would go to school in the morning, I would do my dialysis before I go to school, and then I would leave for lunchtime and do my dialysis, and then after I'd come back, I'd relax, I'd do my homework and do my dialysis, and then I'd do the last one before I'd go to sleep at 9 o'clock. And the SGA has helped me a lot. They're very accommodating if I need to, like when we leave for Guatemala, because I had to start going for an appointment once a month because we were accepted into the Una Elk Foundation in December, and they were able to give us the bags and we're able to cross them through the border every month to do my dialysis. At school, I still do after-school activities, like I joined the choir, sometimes I stay back after school. I'm able to see all my friends there, so it's really something I enjoy. I've managed to keep up my grades and continue to learn more and do good in school, despite the challenges, like how sometimes I'm gone for 3 or even more days. The teachers always help me to find out what work I've missed or help me to see what all materials they did over the time I wasn't there. Well, all my friends, they're always there to cheer me up or make me happy, or they come to my home to see how I'm doing, or just send me a message. I'm part of Honor Society, and I participate in one of the school activities, like the Passion Project, where I learned to sew and make tote bags, and then made a video for it. And just the other day, I did a speech for the ceremony and got pinned for it. During this time, we see how my family has bonded and how so many people have helped us. So I want to thank my family, my uncle, my tia Danny, my aunt in the States. I want to thank all the people at church, my teachers, my friends, my principal, Miss Tillett, and all the people who have prayed for me over this time. During this time of Lent, you want to think of the Stations of the Cross and how when Jesus fell, he saw Mary and how her strength helped him. We see this every day, me and my mom. When we pray the rosary, we're always praying with Mary. And she tells me, Mary is right there holding your hand, and really feel God's presence within us. With all the people who have helped us during this time, they bring me strength and they help me. All their graces have helped me to be more happy. And I know that they're giving me strength with their prayers and all the miracles that happen every day that we see, even if we don't notice them. Although I can't see all the people who are praying for me and asking for these graces for me, those who come into my life, I show them my gratitude. I show them my love in special ways. I get to know them. I see what they like. Just the other week, I made special brownies for my grandma because she's a diabetic and she's really special to me. She's always caring for me, her and my grandpa. I wanted to show her that I'm always thinking of her, and I wanted to make her something special that she can eat that won't mess up with her blood sugar. Well, for my friends, I'm always making them little gifts, or when I invite them over, I make it special because they tell me, my mom tells me, my brother tells me that I'm very special, that I'm always thinking of them or making them feel good, or that I'm always a cheerful person, that they look forward to whenever I give them something, or whenever they see me, that I always bring them joy. So I found that I love in a special way. I show my gratitude by gifting and doing special things. I live each day with hope. And as my mom has told me, God chooses his strongest warriors to face these challenges because he knows that maybe somebody else couldn't handle it. And I see each day as a joy. Every day is a miracle. Even if you don't notice it or see it, but it's there. When you wake up in the mornings. Thank you everyone for listening and for sending all the prayers.
In our journey, we have no fear. Our Lord leads us in all our ways. We trust in you, even in our tears. Your tender love wipes those away. Shout with joy, clap your hands. We are your people, you bless. Praise your name. Celebrate Anno Domini, our Jubilee.